This screencast is going to walk through step 4, where you're going to work on citing your sources using Noodletools. If you have used Noodletools before, this will be a little refresher. If you have not used Noodletools, this might be a screencast you're going to want to come back and watch again as you start becoming familiar with using Noodletools. I'm going to try to walk you through citing a couple of different sources. So I do have a couple of links here. Noodletools down here, Info Ohio down here at the bottom is a website that's linked through the library resources. And if you use sources from Info Ohio, these are sources you do not need to use a CRAP form for because they have been evaluated and published on the library website. There is a username and password to get into it for Chardon though. The other one is right here, and this is Noodletools. That's the one we're going to be using. And if you have an account already, you should be able to log into it. If not, I'm not actually sure how this looks from a student perspective. You're either going to be able to log in using your Chardon Schools account, and it may ask you for LGCA as a username, and then this would be your password. So I've linked it here, and you will probably have a button that says sign up if you have not used it before. I'm going to use login because I've already logged in before. And over here is where you're going to look at your registering. This might be what you need to do. So if your school has subscribed to it, it will prompt you through a couple of different screens to get you signed in. And then you should have your own username and password. Just make sure if it's not your Chardon Schools that you have it written down somewhere. All right, and so once you get in here, you're going to just see a lot of different tools, toolbars, menus up here. Make sure that you just read the directions. A lot of it is common sense if you just stop and think about what each of these tabs mean. So what you'll see here is a dashboard that has all of your projects. You can see I already have one for Greek research. If you don't, which you shouldn't, you're going to open this up, and I'm going to put mine as practice Greek research. It's going to default to MLA, and that is the source reference style that you want to use. And we're going to go with junior here. You should have done a works cited before, so this should be familiar to you. It'll give you a few more options as far as types of sources. Okay, and so then up here you can see this brings me to a dashboard just on this particular project. We're not going to really use this for anything other than our sources. So I'm going to click on that tab. And once you create some citations, they'll show up under here. So I'm going to click either here or you can click up here, create new citation, and you need to decide what type of a citation you're going to use. So the first one I'm going to walk you through is using a book, because I do strongly recommend that you're using some print sources. So I'm going to click book there, and it's going to bring up a menu of things that I need to fill in. Now, because I didn't bring any of my Greek mythology reference books home, I'm going to use our Trojan War book as a reference to cite. And so you'll see here, book. It's just going to walk you through what are the different things I need. I need an author, and his name is Bernard. No middle name, Evslin. Make sure you watch your capitalization, punctuation, spelling, all of those things. Okay. Pay attention if something is underlined in red, it's probably an indication that you didn't capitalize something or spell it correctly. Now I'm going to go to title of book. And when you click in here, it'll tell you some of the things that you need to keep in mind. So this is very user-friendly. It's going to help you along the way. It's a tool for students, and it wants to give you all the help that it can. All right, so I put my title in there. If there was a volume, more for reference books, you would see that maybe printed on the title page or the copyright page. Most of the print books that we use, unless it's an encyclopedia, probably isn't going to have a volume number. So now I'm going to look on my title page inside. Okay, the publisher is Scholastic. And then if I look, it also shows me a list of different cities that it's been published at. I always say go with the very first one. such as New York. And the copyright date will be on the back of the title page, and this is 1971. And it would also tell me if this was an edition, which it's not, and it's not a series. So if there's no information for any of these other things, you just leave it blank. Okay, and when I have everything in there, I'm going to check to make sure there are no red underlinings in here anywhere. Let's see what it does if I don't capitalize Scholastic, just to show you. Okay, and it doesn't, so I'm going to do it for you. But do make sure that the expectation is that these things are capitalized. I'm going to click Save, and now you'll see that it pops up in here. Now, one of the nice things about using Noodletools is that it gives you what the in-text citation will look like. So it'll show you at the end of your sentence, Evelyn. I could even pop in a page number here, and it'll show me exactly what it should look like. So this is a great tool when you get to writing some of your research projects. Now I'm going to do another citation, and this time I'm going to use a website. And you can see within website that there are some different options. If I use one of the things you might want to try is Encyclopedia Britannica, and that is a reference source that we find online, but I'm going to go strictly with a web page. And I'm going to go Google my goddess. I'm going to do Nike because I'm not letting any of you use Nike. We're not using Wikipedia. I'm going to go down to this GreekMythology.com website. Now, I haven't actually used a crap form. We're going to pretend that I've used a crap form and already decided that this is a reliable website. For our purposes right now, I just want to show you what this is going to look like. Now, there are two different things that it's going to highlight here. You've got the website, the web page, and down here the website again. So any information that goes under web page refers specifically to this page about Nike. Anything about the website is going to refer to the site as a whole. And usually you should be able to click on the header up here, the name of the website, and it'll take you back to their home page. Okay, but that's a good, make sure you know the difference between a website and a web page. So think of this as the title of the book, and these are all the different chapters that occur within it. And it's not going to be set up with page numbers or anything. It's just going to be set up in a format for the website or for online. All right, so I'm going to go back over here, and it's asking me on that particular web page, I want to see, is there an author, an editor, a translator? A lot of times with websites, we don't find those things. So I'm going to go back here to Nike, and I don't see on this page an author. So I'm going to just leave that blank. The web page that I'm using is called Nike, and that's really all that I need. So now I'm going to go to the name of the website, and the website here is GreekMythology.com. And looking here for the publisher, it says leave the field blank if the publisher's name is the same as the website. So I'm going to go to the bottom of this page to see how it's copyrighted. And I can see it's the same, GreekMythology.com. So it would be redundant to say it twice. So if it's already here at the name of the website, I don't need to put it down here again. Okay, and then scrolling back up here, it is asking me for the URL, the page that I was on, and I do want you to include that in case I need to go back and visit it. It's asking for the date of publication. So again, down at the bottom, I'm going to go and I can see the copyright. There is no month or day. It says 1997 to 2018. So that's what I'm going to fill in, 1997 to 2018. Most recent date of access is today's date. And if I click that, it automatically generates in there for me. And so I'm going to leave the rest of this stuff empty. And I'm going to click Save. And when I do that, I now have two sources here. Now here's a good example of a citation that doesn't have an author. So if I was going to put it in parenthetical citation here, this is what it would look like. Just the article title in quotation marks inside the parentheses with the period at the end. Okay, and so once I have all of my sources, and I've told you you need a minimum of 3, the last thing you're going to do is now export this and make this into your Works Cited. I'm going to show you how to do that. We can directly put it into our Google Drive if we used our username for Chardon Schools. And you will probably have to go through this thing where it asks you for permission and to link your account. Give it a second. Takes a while to put that information in there. And the nice thing is it's going to format it all correctly for you. You're not going to change the font. You're not going to change the spacing. You're not going to put anything in bold. Everything is the way that it's supposed to be. And so the only thing that you are going to need to do is put your cursor here, hit enter one time, move your cursor back up here, make this right aligned so that your name can go over here. This does not get a traditional heading. We put our last name and then the page number of our source Works Cited. So we're not working with huge research projects, so we're only going to have one page to our research project. But I remember in high school doing a big project where I had 3 or 4 pages to my Works Cited page. Each one had to be numbered here. Okay, so this is what you're going to do, and then this is what you'll submit as your Works Cited page, listing all of the different sources you use. So if you have any questions, of course, make sure you ask. But again, using Noodletools, make sure that you just follow the directions, think about the tabs and what everything tells you, and it'll kind of teach you as you go.